Black metal was created by a band named Venom. During this time, Venom was trying to break out of metal and create their own path. Using their lyrics and imagery, they greatly achieved this goal. Venom had created an album by the name of Black Metal. Using their lyrics and their imagery in this album, this was the birth of black metal, giving the genre its name. Austin, also called Euronymous, was greatly influenced by this album. In '84, he made the band Mayhem. The band got its name after the song Mayhem with Mercy, a song off of the Black album. The band had a rocky start with finding their vocalist. For their first EP, they just used Austin, but after finding out that he sounded a lot like me when I tried to sing, they realized that they needed to find someone else. In the band's search, they found Eric and Sven. Eric played with the band only once in '85, but quit to focus on his own passions. Honestly, good for him. Leave while you can. Sven decided to stay and was their vocalist for a little while. When Mayhem started out, they wanted to be really heavy, but ended up that their stuff ended up sounding more like punk than metal. Even though this wasn't what the band wanted, in a book called Black Metal: Evolution of the Cult by Dale Peterson, mentions that the equipment they were using had never recorded something this heavy before. And because they didn't know how to record it, the music was not mixed and nothing was overdubbed. But the era actually made the music sound more raw. After working with the band for a while, Sven ended up actually leaving, and the band needed to find someone new to replace. And this was when they met Dead. Yeah, if you know Mayhem, you know what kind of psycho this guy is. He was in a band by the name Morbid. Fitting name. He only recorded one song with the band, but even though it was just a practice work, it still showed the potential that he had. Dead had left the band because he felt that the band that he was in wasn't going anywhere, and he wanted to go bigger. So why was he called Dead? Well, apparently he was so infatuated with death, he wanted to be around it. He even would put birds under his bed so he could smell it. Dead now in the band, this made Mayhem come closer to their dark satanic image. He was obsessed with death. Maybe he was autistic. He would hurt himself on stage and around his friends. People were concerned for him and wanted him to stop hurting himself. That's strangely surprising. Well, everyone but one person. Austin was infatuated by Dead and his actions, so he would always encourage him in his behavior. The two also hated each other. They would argue, fight, and there was even a claim that Dead stabbed Austin when they lived together. Austin even hated him so much that he would always egg him on to kill himself. In '91, the band lived together in a house in the woods. With Austin in the house, Dead would always just stay in his room, getting more and more depressed. Then, on April 8th, Dead killed himself. The only thing left behind was a note saying, "Sorry for the blood," and had some other bizarre claims. The note was a clear sign that Dead was mentally deranged. Austin came home to find Dead's body, and what better to do? Rather than calling the police, he ended up taking multiple photos of Dead's body. He also took Dead's bones and even made necklaces out of them. I called Dead the psychopath, but Dead was just depressed. Austin was the real psychopath. Hey, guess what? What is it? Dead did something really cool. He killed himself. What? Yeah, I got pictures of him. Dead. Come over and see. What do you mean cool? Okay. Don't call me until you destroy those pictures. After hearing that, obviously Necro left the band. I mean, can you blame the guy? Now with half the band gone, Austin somehow kept it up instead of it just fading away from the public's eye. To him, the death of Dead was so much more of a positive thing, and this was around the time where Mayhem was taking its turn. Austin spiraled more and more. He would go on talking about the importance of black metal and what it meant to be someone a part of this genre. He then went on to say how Dead had killed himself because he hated how much black metal had become commercialized and too trendy, and how he hated bandwagons. But all this was debunked. Dead had been talking to someone through a form of letters, saying how he wanted the band to do better, and how he wanted the band to be the best of it all. But Austin now had a martyr of people behind him. He even convinced people that black metal was worth dying for, and he was able to open up a record store in '91. He called it Heventa, is I think how you say it. Well, its English name meaning hell. Austin was able to revise Mayhem, and by '92, Mayhem was back on its feet. The band was almost complete. They didn't have a bass, but in '92 they met Varg. Austin also made a bunch of rules in order to be a real fan of black metal. The main rule was that you had to be a Satanist and that you had to be actively practicing it. And then in '92, Varg said in an interview that he was to blame for a few churches being burned, and even the killing of a man. And in saying those crimes, he was arrested for suspicion of committing them. Apparently, the band decided that Varg would say those things so then he could commercialize the band and black metal itself. It was then released in '93, and also apparently Austin hated him so much that he actually planned to kill Varg. Yep, we finally made it here. But Varg somehow found out that Austin wanted to kill him, so he wanted to confront him about it. There was a contract that Varg needed to sign, and Austin just invited him over. They didn't plan anything, so Varg just drove over. He went into Austin's place, and after a while, Austin then attacked him. Varg also had a pocket knife, and he used that to defend himself from Austin trying to get a knife from the kitchen. After fighting with Varg for a little while, Austin then remembered that there was a shotgun in his room, the same shotgun that Dad had killed himself with. I'm not sure what happened next, but all I remember from the thing that I saw was that it said that Austin was on the ground, and there was a bunch of lamp shards all over, so he was all cut up and bloody. Austin then went for round 2 and tried to get him again, but that was when Varg ended up stabbing him in the head, and he ended up dropping dead. Varg claimed that he only killed him in self-defense, but in the blog that he made, it told a pretty different story. He said how he was mad at Austin because he had become a coward. The second things didn't go his way, he changed. In the blog, it said that he had become so angry at Austin that he saw that he had no reason for him to live. The police wanted a confession from both Varg and Snore, and after a while, Snore caved and said how Varg planned to kill him all along, and that he pressured him to be an accomplice. Snore only got 8 years, and Varg only got 21 years. Also, that wasn't just for his murder. He got 20 years for arson, burning churches down, and murder. Dude is straight up out of prison right now.